Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the breakdown. I'm Tone. Thank you for being here once again. I'm going to try and keep this video nice and short today. But wanted to start off by just mentioning that the number of big companies that are moving towards this mandating of the vaccine within their ranks in order for you to keep your job is increasing. The number of those big businesses, a number of them were mentioned on the radio today. I can't quite recall all of them, but it's an increase now. Obviously started off with, was it CSL? Hang on. CSR. No, I can't remember now. Some fruit and vegetable cannery. But anyway, the justification for that is they have an obligation, according to state health and safety acts, to provide a safe working environment. And the problem comes to a point where the state law and some federal law clash. One supersedes another one, but then one's allowable because of some other act or some other section in the Constitution that allows for the states to have some form of autonomy, and it gets messy and gets complicated. And of course, logic and moral obligation in any of this just sort of kind of just gets pushed to the side, and knowledge and someone's written word that they've written down, that's been passed into law, takes precedence over logic and decency and all those sorts of things. And that's what is the danger of going down the knowledge path far too hard and forgetting the wisdom of any given issue. And that's applicable across life itself, not just this one. But just to finish off that thought, the obligation is to provide a safe working environment. But how do you do that if you're mandating a vaccine without potentially jeopardizing the health of those that you've mandated to get this vaccine? And that's where this indemnity clause has been passed, or is going to be passed, that protects employers from any repercussions from any employee that has an adverse reaction to the vaccine. And of course, that speaks volumes to me that there's the possibility, obviously, that could happen, and they need to put in these protections so that they can, keep pushing this agenda. So, yeah, how do you mandate something being done that's supposed to be for the health of everyone involved, and then also protect the health of everyone involved, when potentially by doing so they can get sick and or die from getting that intervention? So that's a very, very, very rickety bridge to try to cross safely. But they're going to do it. And I want to also cover this idea that, remember, we were told not to succumb to peer pressure. And at the moment, obviously, the law doesn't allow for federal government to mandate the vaccine. But of course, enough people are just complying and taking it on themselves to form groups and congratulate themselves about getting it. And it's their choice. They can get it. And it's anyone's choice to not get it. That's my opinion. I think that that's a valid opinion. But what you've got is you've got groups that form and start to say nasty things or start to ignore or segregate off from those that claim they're not going to go get it. Now, then it comes into this idea of peer pressure, right? So we've been told many, many times growing up to not succumb to peer pressure. And well, what is this exactly, if not peer pressure? Because again, the laws have a bit of a sticky wicket to try to get behind, to try to get beyond. And so what they're doing is trial by society. They're getting people to be on board with it, and then also push the idea that those that have done so are somehow superior. Now, obviously, they're not saying it overtly like that in many cases, but that's the opinion that's starting to develop, and it's a load of rubbish. We already covered the idea that, or the understanding that the vaccinated will be more of a risk to the unvaccinated than the other way around. Otherwise, why get vaccinated? We also know that, we know that those that have been vaccinated can still get it and still pass it on. So therein lies that issue that they can pass it to an unvaccinated person, which makes the risk much, much greater to those that aren't vaccinated. So there's that, and we just keep skirting around it. We keep skirting around it. As a society, I think we're missing some pretty big points there. Now, the main thing that I wanted to cover, just to finish off this video, is we all remember, do we not, the laws that have been passed in the last 5 years or so in various states, and maybe more recently than that even. Just before all of this COVID-19 started, laws passed to, in particular, about abortions. Now, I know this is a tricky topic for many people. If you're watching this video and you have gotten an abortion in the past, I do apologize if you find this uncomfortable. But my firm belief is that abortion is abhorrent for any reason at all. There's no reason that I view it to be acceptable. But that aside, I do sympathise with whatever situation led you down that path, if you have indeed done so. But that said, the main argument for that even being allowed, and that it ought to be acceptable, is this idea of my body, it's my choice. Okay, and what I'm finding a little bit hard to reconcile is this idea that something as invasive as an abortion is allowed, and the main basis is my body, my choice. And yet, again, it's not mandated yet. Some businesses are mandating it, but it's not mandated yet. But this trial by society is flipping that idea on its head and saying, well, yeah, but It's not your body and your choice in this instance. Okay. And something as fundamental as your body, your choice, it is or it isn't. There's no two-way street on this. So something that I've noticed is in the media, anytime that they are sort of talking about, and it isn't the main topic, but it's still being talked about. But anytime they do talk about anything to do with abortion stuff, they're refraining from using the argument, my body, my choice. Now, and they probably can to a degree now, because most people that are pro-abortion, they're already that side of the fence, and they don't really need to use that term anymore. But I think it's just a prudent thing to recall arguments that are used for an issue that has now been passed and has been, I guess, partially accepted by society, and apply it back to something that's now in play, that's right now in our face, and say, well, if my body, my choice applies in the case of abortion, where a father who may love to say, okay, fine, you have the baby and I'll take care of it by myself. We've already split up, but I'll take care of it. You don't have to have any part in the baby's life if that's what you want, right? But he's got no choice because it's not his body. So therefore it's not his choice, even though it's his baby. Okay. Now we can't have that. And again, abortion is far more invasive than a vaccination. We cannot have two trains of thought here. It doesn't work like that. I don't care what the law says. Moral wisdom surpasses all law. And laws are supposed to be based on the well-being of us. They're not supposed to make us prisoners and restrict us. They're supposed to simply keep us safe and keep things orderly. But we've got a problem where some of these laws are immoral. So I just wanted to cover that today. It's either my body, my choice, your body, your choice, or it's not. It cannot be both. And your body, your choice, or not your body and not your choice applies across the board. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. It either is or it isn't. And to finish off tonight's video, the clown effect. The clown effect is, it is nobody's business whether you're vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. I don't care. And others may care, but I think that anyone that does care, that's the clown effect. If you are vaccinated, you have protected yourself and you've protected everybody else that you think you're protecting. That's fine for you. But anyone who's not vaccinated, well, that shouldn't affect you because you're vaccinated. So the clown effect today is, it's not anyone's business but mine, or but yours, as to whether you have or you haven't been, regardless of this vaccine mandate that could come. It's no one's business. Absolutely no one's business. But people are going to make it their business. I think that's even more of a clown effect. They're going to make it their business, even though it's not their business. So I'm preparing for what life might end up looking like for myself. I've been pretty clear, even though it's none of anybody's business. I've been pretty clear on what I think about this, so I'm preparing for what that might look like and what my life may look like. But I trust in God. I'm not afraid of mortal men. So we'll just see how it all goes. Yeah, so also just wanted to say, keep reaching out to each other and keeping in contact with each other. This stuff just keeps dragging on, and it's highly frustrating. And probably the most frustrating thing is this idea that we've got to be fearful of this stuff, and the only solution is some sort of syringe needle combination filled with stuff that, well, it's got to be argued we don't know the full details about yet. Now, I've already discussed that, but look, I think it should be left open for discussion. And while that discussion is still well and truly being had, we shouldn't be going down a path of pressuring people to get something or to not get something. It is your body and it is your choice in every aspect. I firmly believe that. And so do what you will with that information. It's none of my business what you do. And it's none of anyone else's. Thank you for joining me. If you liked this video, well, or if you didn't like it, don't like it and hit the down button. Doesn't really faze me. Share this video as far and wide as you like. I'd appreciate it. I'm unashamed and I'm not afraid of whatever that could bring my way. When we stand up for what we believe is true, and when we certainly stand for what is true, we've got to expect there's going to be people that disagree. There's going to be people that are offended because the truth is the most offensive thing out there. And we've got to be prepared for what comes our way when we're standing for something. As my dad used to always love to say, if you're not standing for something, you'll fall for anything. And on that note, I'll leave you with it. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, I'll see you in the next videos. God bless and bye for now.